What's up, guys? Day 16 of the video blog. It is a Monday, and I'm not covered in champagne and party hats, so I did not win the Sunday Million yet again. I don't know how that happened, but back to work we go. Today, I got inspired to talk about a topic pretty important to me, and that's taking responsibility as a human for your brain chemistry. I think it's really important in poker, and I think it's really monumentally important outside of poker. A friend of mine, sit and go player, mentioned to me that he thought it was pretty cool that I was able to go out and not drink and be comfortable, and that he has, he's trying to move in that direction himself, because obviously, drinking a lot is not good for your poker, and it's probably not good for most of your goals. But, he said this prevailing culture where he lives is, people go out and get, pretty drunk and pretty, just kind of what you do, and it's what his friends do, and that, that makes it tough. And he said one of his friends recently stopped, indulging in that type of stuff when he goes out. And I'm not anti-alcohol at all. My screen name's The Drunk Life. I'm just kind of putting ideas out there and talking about the different considerations for your different actions. But, one of his friends basically said he thought it was sad if you need to alter your brain chemistry to have a good time or to talk to people. And based on what he told me his friend was trying to walk away from doing, or like how he's trying to change his life, that sounds like a really positive headspace for him to be in right now, that person. I don't know them. But I think the bigger picture is understanding that everything that you do affects your brain chemistry. Not just things like drinking, not just, the things that are obvious that affect your brain chemistry, but literally everything. What things affect your brain chemistry? Sleep, obviously, exercise, but it's more minute than that, honestly. It's everything. The way you get yourself out of bed in the morning, the first thing you do when you wake up, if you pet your dog, if you hug your girlfriend, if you hug your mom, all these things affect your brain chemistry. Your body is never static. Your body isn't even one thing. Your body is a collaborative effort between tons and tons of organisms and, little pieces and cells in a constant state of, continual interaction. You are a system in constant interaction with the world outside you and the world inside you. And everything from your diet to the things you smell, the things you touch, the places you go, the things your field of vision, falls upon, that all affects your brain chemistry. So I think it's kind of a short-sighted mentality to not be cognizant of this fact and use that fact to make better decisions for yourself. To put that more positively, if you remember that everything in your life affects your brain chemistry, and you remember to think about how you would like your brain to function, and then move in that direction, I think you can really transform your life in a positive way. It's really not just about alcohol. Sugar affects your brain chemistry. Fat affects your brain chemistry. Hugging your girlfriend, like I said before, creates oxytocin. There's a million different things that affect your brain chemistry. And I think a lot of people kind of think that their brain chemistry just is what it is. And if you believe that way, then you're kind of going to prove yourself right a lot. If you say you're feeling depressed, if you kind of subscribe to the notion that you're depressed and that's the way it is, and that's the way it's always going to be, well, then it's unlikely that that's going to change. And, I don't want to upset anybody who believes this way, but you need to think that things can be different than they are if they're ever going to be different, because you need to create the space for that change to happen. It relates to everything. If you have tilt issues in poker, you need to believe that you could handle it better, or else you never will. If you just say to yourself over and over again, I have a short temper, I have a short temper, well, you're going to continue to have a short temper. But getting angry because your opponent held a hand that was not ahead of yours, and then the river card fell, and his hand was suddenly ahead of yours, getting angry because that happened is really no more reasonable or logical or acceptable than getting angry when you were taking a walk outside and a bird happened to land on the tree branch next to you. It makes no sense at all. You have a short temper if you have a short temper because your response to stimulus is allowing that to be the case. Just like if you're feeling depressed, I mean, a lot of times for people, it's going to be their interpretation of the stimulus that makes them depressed, not the stimulus. I mean, no thing that happens in life is really good or bad. It's just the thinking that makes it so. You know, if your girlfriend left you, I mean, chances are if you're having a really tough time dealing with that, you know, you're probably beating yourself up, being really mean to yourself, and thinking about it in a really negative way. And it's not just those kind of things that make people depressed. But depression, people always like to say it's an imbalance of chemicals and you can't fix it. Well, I've yet to meet someone who's, you know, done literally everything possible to try to fix their brain chemistry and still has no luck. I mean, I'm sure the people that think they have, but I think that the notion that you can't make your brain chemistry more in line with how you'd like it to be comes from not yet finding the solution. And I think that's everything. Anything in life that you're not where you'd like to be, if you think you can't get there, it's basically a manifestation of your frustration with the fact that you haven't gotten there yet, and you're perhaps no closer. All you really know is what doesn't work. For this issue specifically, for mental imbalances, I mean, the thing is, the cause could be anything. You know, if you have temper issues, if you have, you know, difficulty being happy, difficulty being motivated, I mean, your reason could be so different than someone else with the exact same problem. And that's why we're so short on solutions. I think that we tend to lump them together based on the, you know, manifest symptoms that they're presenting to the world. Oh, this person's sad, this person's sad. You're both depressed. How do you cure depression? Well, depression is not a thing you cure. Depression is the thing that, you know, comes out when something else is wrong. It's a symptom. It's not a disease. So, you know, one person may be depressed because their girlfriend left them, and they're, you know, have really negative interpretation of that stimulus, and they're, you know, telling themselves really negative things, and they're thinking about it in a way that causes them to be depressed. Another person could have a completely different cause. I mean, completely different. They could have some sort of, you know, problem with their microbial bacteria in their gut that prevents them from digesting food properly and prevents the absorption of nutrients, which causes a chemical imbalance in their brain from that. And those causes could not be more polar opposite. But their actions, their symptoms in the world may seem exactly the same. Literally exactly the same. So, and it's not just depression. It could be, you know, one person could have trouble paying attention because their diet is causing them to, you know, express different, you know, things in their brain that cause them to be unable to focus. Another person could just be really, really uninterested in what they're trying to pay attention to. And we might say, oh, neither of these people can pay attention in science class, but one kid just hates science, and one kid has something chemically imbalanced in his brain from his diet. And they're completely different causes, completely similar manifestation. And I guess that's why I feel that you have to take a whole body approach. Everything top down, you know, understand that every thought you have, every morsel of food, every chemical, every substance that you put in your body, everything you do, everyone you talk to, everyone you hug, everyone you kiss, everything you do in life affects your brain chemistry. You are responsible for your own brain chemistry. You're not a victim of it. I'm not saying that some people didn't perhaps get dealt a biologically better hand than others, better being subjective, but certainly, you know, people's paths will be different in this, but once you take responsibility for it and understand that everything under the sun that you could possibly think or do affects it, and then start trying to make choices that affect it in the direction that you would like it to be, well, you can really change your life. I mean, really change your life. So, I mean, I could write a book on this topic, and maybe I will someday, but I just wanted to get it out there because I got really inspired to start talking about it, and it's something that I feel is just monumentally important. I mean, I could not stress enough how important it is to take responsibility for the way you think and the way your brain operates, and don't just accept it if you're not happy with it. So, I don't know. I'm sure this kind of a topic might ruffle a few feathers, so I'm interested to hear if anyone has any feedback on it and any thoughts they'd like to share. Anyway, thanks guys for watching, and I got some poker to play. I'll see you guys next time.